Well, welcome back, folks. Thanks for joining the Eagle's Nest. So we're going to start a new series, highly anticipated, highly requested. Been getting a lot of emails for folks wanting to see what I could do with the CZ 457 455 rifle. So we are going to begin that series today. I have here from a good friend of mine, this is a CZ 455. It is a factory 24-inch barrel, and it has a little bit of upgrades. I'll go over that in a little bit. What we're going to do, like I do in all these series, is get an initial performance on how this thing works. And then we're going to talk about how I'm going to build this barrel. So we're going to start off with 50-yard groups. I also do have a KYL rack from shootsteel.com that we're going to try out at 100 yards. But first, we are going to be trying out some groups with SK Rifle and Elite 10X. I'm basically going to be skipping all the low-end grade ammunition, hoping to see the best performance out of this rifle. So stick around, stay tuned. And thanks for watching. Okay, so to go over the rifle, the factory rifle, not so factory. This is a CZ 455 factory barreled action. It does have the factory 24-inch 900 thousandths chromoly steel barrel. All I ended up doing on this thing was pretty much recrowning the thing to see if we get better performance. There was a little bit of a damaged crown. It does sit inside a MDT LSS RF chassis. This is strictly for the CZ 455 457. The scope that I'm planning on using today is the Element Titan scope. I do have a different scope cam that I'll be trying out to see how well that performs. Other than that, it has a McFly trigger on this thing, so very, very crisp. This thing is clear, by the way, but it's a very crisp trigger. I'd say roughly 8 ounces on the trigger pull. It's not a two-stage, it's more of just a straight pullback, non-stacking trigger. So we'll be shooting some SK rifle match along with Elite 10X. I'm going to be skipping some of the low-grade ammunition. I basically want to see the best performance out of this rifle, both at 50 yards and 100. So let's get to it. So it is the afternoon here in this Arizona heat. It was 118 degrees today, so lucky to be out of the sun, but still pretty blazing hot. Now, one thing that this rifle also does have is this crazy bolt knob. I forgot who makes this thing, but it's a pretty big bolt knob. It's made out of rubber. I'll have Ray comment below. This bolt knob actually feels pretty damn good, surprisingly. Along with the trigger and everything, this rifle from the factory actually feels pretty damn smooth. So we're loading up this polymer mag here, 10-round mag with SK rifle. We'll start at 50 yards. There is a little bit of a slight breeze. We're talking 2 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour, so should not affect it as much. I got this thing kind of bore sighted, but we'll see where the point of aim is. All right. Let me get solid here, guys. Okay, I hit just left. We'll just see what it does. Cold bore shot. Quite a bit of a shift there. Okay. Seems to be stacking. That was 4. Ooh, flyer. Okay, number 5. All right, let's go to the next group here. Action is very smooth, easy to manipulate, 60-degree throw. That seems to be stacking. Oh, a little bit of a flyer. I believe that was 10 shots. We have one more? I think so. Yeah, we have one more. All right. So initial performance out of the gate, not the best that I've seen, obviously, with the custom rifles that I do, but performance out of the gate is not bad. I mean, we can still compete with that. But let's get a close-up of the group size and see what kind of groups we initially have with SK rifle. Go ahead and walk up to the target here. All right. Looks like the last 5 shots kind of stacked up. That was the last 5 there. Not bad. I'm going to guess that's around a 0.4 inch group. If I was to take that one out, that might be a 0.35-ish. The first 5-shot group, first shot was up here, then had one here. So got a kind of a big cold bore shift. So 3 seem to be stacking right there, and then 1 outlier on the bottom left. But we'll go ahead and load up some Elite 10X and see what else this thing could do. All right, got Elite 10X, lot number 1022-03058, listed at 1,060 feet a second. This lot's been proven to work very well with my custom rifles that I built. And with this 24-inch barrel, it should perform very well. We'll go on the 3rd row, left target here. All right, high left. Whoa. Yeah, that's a huge shift there. Okay, definitely walking down.
What?
Wow.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it is not liking this Ely ammo. I don't know if you guys are seeing that, but that group pattern looks like dog shit. Wow. I have never seen a 22 shoot that bad. Okay. At this point, I don't even think fouling this bore is going to do anything. That's a flipping shotgun. So we're going to disregard Elite 10X. Wow. Do not know what's going on there. Yes, the bore is tight, or the barrel is tight. There's absolutely nothing wrong there, nothing touching the barrel. It just absolutely hates Elite 10X. So wow, that was surprising to see that. Let's go back to SK rifle match. Obviously that shot not bad, and I'm going to disregard Elite 10X. Seeing something like that, that means there's definitely something wrong with the barrel as far as it being a tight spot or something. And we're also seeing a little bit of flyers with the SK, so let's just go back to the SK. All right, so we got the KYL rack set up from shootsteel.com. 50 yards SK rifle match. Got the scope cam going and got a camera down range. Let's see if we can clear this thing without any hiccups and see how well this thing performs. Okay. All right, seems to be clearing it. All right, see if we can start this over again. Ooh, see, that was a flyer. That barely hit that one. Okay, off to the right there. Let's go for the smallest one. All right, so 100 yards with SK rifle match, KYL rack again. Now I have this thing dialed at 1.3 mils elevation and 0.4 left. Let's see if we can get on target here. Okay, so it looks like the call for this rifle is 1.8 and 0.2 left. It just left. Yep, struggling on the third target here. I nicked it. Let's go to 1.9, see what that does. Barely hit it. So, let's see. Let's load up some more ammo. All right, first target here again. Barely hit it. I was off to the right. Off to the right again. Low. High. This is getting all over the place. Alright, let's go back to the third target again. Seems to be alright on the third target. See if we can hit that one more time. Yeah, it's holding the third target, but can't go any further than that. So not bad. Performance isn't bad still, even with the factory barrel. I mean, this is still competitive. Yeah, got no problem hitting it. Let's go for the next target again. It's just low. Yeah, but if I could hit this again, it's holding this target for sure. Yep. Can't get this thing to go. There we go. Ah, nicked it. Does count as a hit. Alright. Did hit it though. There we go. So, still pretty good performance out of this rifle. Yep, that was a hit. Does count. Well, you can tell that this rifle still does pretty damn good for what it is. Pretty happy with the performance actually. Even with the factory rifle. Now I know I could get this thing better, but being able to hold at least a third position on the KYL rack at 100 yards is not bad performance. Getting my dope pretty much dead on the elevation and windage really did matter too as well. So we were able to clear the KYL rack with a little bit of a struggle. But let's head back to the shop. Let's talk about the barrel, see what kind of ideas I have in plan for the CZ 455 and 457. So stay tuned. So let's take a look at the CZ 455 action that we have here. It's going to be very similar to the 457, and the plan's on getting a barrel spun up for this. Now I do have a brand new barrel blank from Schillen. This is a 0.990 inch contour, straight contour. This is at 30 inches, so obviously I'm going to cut it down, but it's a Schillen select match. So it is tapered lapped. It does have the ratchet rifling. This is kind of the downside to the CZ 455 or CZ 457 actions, is that we're kind of limited to the action diameter, which is, it's a rough estimate of 1 inch 177 thou is what I'm measuring here. We basically can't go any bigger than 1 inch and 100 thou without it exceeding the action diameter. So that's the caveat to the actual CZ 455, which causes a little bit of imbalance issues with some chassis. Of course, you could always buy weights and stuff to balance out the chassis, but that's kind of what I wanted to showcase on this video, that the CZ455, 457s, depending on the chassis choice, like for instance this LSS chassis was a little bit too light, and you still have a little bit of recoil that you got to mitigate with, either with positional shots or whatnot. So let's look at this barrel. Now I do have my bore cam here. This is from Tesla. Get this thing fired up. Let's see if we see any kind of issues with this barrel. Now this is a 4140 chromoly steel barrel, I believe, from factory. Looks like a micro groove barrel. You can see there's a lot of lands and grooves. I don't see any kind of carbon ring. Everything seems to be pretty straight on the actual chamber cut here. Now this does engrave quite a bit on the SK rifle down to the second band, so we'll see what the jam point is or how much protrusion we're getting from the SK ammo. Let's go down the bore here, see if we see any kind of damages. So far everything looks pretty good. A couple little dust bunnies here and there. Really nothing out of the ordinary that I could see. We'll head all the way to the crown here. Oh, there's a little bit of issue. I don't know if you guys can see this. That's coming up on video, but that is cracking. That looks like chromoly plate cracking right here, and I'm roughly about 10 inches down the barrel. So there's a bunch of cracking. It just started. Let's see, it started right about here, which is around 7 inches, and then yeah, there's a lot of cracking on the chromoly plating here. That's essentially probably causing a lot of the issues with the accuracy. That looks like it could be lapped out. Not too 100% sure if that's one of the reasons, but that's definitely something of concern looking down the bore of the rifle, and we definitely don't want to be seeing that. Did kind of clear up around the 20-inch mark, so right about the crown is kind of where it cleared up. And take a look at the crown. Like I said, I redid this crown because it was damaged. Everything seems to be pretty flat. There is no burrs or anything at all, so crown's good, other than seeing the fire cracking in the barrel. That'd be the only concern of this 4140 factory 24-inch CZ barrel. So the one thing that's kind of held me back on making a barrel for the CZs is essentially how the grub screws on the action engage the barrel. Now these things are basically fitted on, and they have these set screws which will tighten down onto the barrel itself here. Now there's a relief cuts made for this barrel for the set screw to engage into, and it does require a milling process. And honestly, that's something I haven't really narrowed down, other than using a 45-degree end mill bit and cutting those slots in there, which will cause pretty much more work. So what I plan on doing, and get your guys' feedback, is instead of cutting mill slots in there like that, what I'm going to do is, when I make the tenon, I'm going to make the tenon as, you know, as basically as tight as possible, where it is pretty much almost a press fit on the action. It's going to reduce, in my opinion, and probably in theory, the harmonics. The more tighter you can get this around the action, the more you have less tinging versus something that's, you know, barely holding on. So that's essentially the concept. So if I build a tenon pretty tight to the action, we're not going to do any work to the action at all. We're just going to do all the tenon work, like I said, matching the action as best as possible. And then what I plan on doing is just grooving a 45 all the way around the barrel. Then what I would have to do basically is source out some shorter set screws, so that way when we put the barrel all together, these set screws or the grub screws aren't sticking out and causing you not to seat the action down into the chassis. So that's tentative plan on what we're going to do. Again, I'm not going to do any kind of upgrades or mods to the bolt, the extractor system, or the action itself. We're simply going to build the barrel with the shill and match select here. And I did have an idea of using a barrel nut, so reaching out to you guys, would it be a better idea if, instead of using a traditional shoulder like this, that we go to like a barrel nut design? give a little example. I'll make my own custom barrel nut. That way you can actually set your headspace instead of using shims for setting the headspace. I think on this first barrel that I'm going to do is I'm going to build a barrel, pretty much close to factory, and then probably experiment later on if it's a good idea. So I'll get the feedback from you guys, using a custom barrel nut system to vary the headspace in order to get the kind of accuracy you need, or setting the headspace and jam point for the type of ammo. So in the next video, we'll be building this barrel. We'll be taking some measurements of this action, kind of going over what I plan on doing with this Schilling barrel, and continue on to the series and see what we could do as far as improving accuracy, balance, and all that. And also get some feedback from you guys if maybe we should go dive into a barrel tuner or whatnot. We'll see. Well, folks, I want to say thanks for watching. I am really excited for this series, and huge thank you for the patience. Like I said, I'll be dumping a lot of videos in the CZ 455 and 457 in a playlist below. So this will be video number 1, getting to kind of get familiarized with this action and what we could do. Stay tuned. There's always going to be more videos. You guys stay safe out there, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.